point off, dude. Are you kidding me? All you had to do was take the QD off my face.
Please don't point it at me now.
I'm not pointing my gun at you. It's pointing at the fucking ground.
Lord.
I'm a law enforcement trainer. I train and instruct law enforcement and military all over the nation on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics. And here we have Florida man gone fishing, gone wrong. So a lot of people in Florida like to assert their rights to open carry, and they do so lawfully pursuant to accordance with Florida statute 790.25 subsection H, which states that somebody can open carry a firearm when going to fishing, hunting activities, etc. And in this case, it's very clear that he was walking on a beach full of people and he got hemmed up by law enforcement, had his weapon taken from him. And so a couple things we have to realize. This is something that I try to train law enforcement on and give you different considerations. But ultimately, we have to ask ourselves, is it worth seizing him, right? Because if you are seizing him and all a seizure is, pursuant to in accordance with Torres v. Madrid, all a seizure is, 2021, is when you do any kind of application of force to the body, to the person with intent to restrain or seize. And in this case, you absolutely did that because you removed his firearm for him and you're telling him he's not free to go. So you have seized him. Is the seizure lawful? Well, in this case, outside of any other circumstances, totality of circumstances pursuant to in accordance with Illinois v. Gates, the answer seems like no. It seems like the officers just weren't really well versed on their own state statutes, and they unlawfully, presumably, detained somebody just because he was open carrying a firearm. And so the thing you have to consider, and the thing I ask law enforcement officers to consider when doing it, one is the lawfulness of that seizure, and also what safety benefits are you getting from this? Because I watch, and I'm the guy, I'm the nerd. I'll just keep it 100% with you guys. I watch officers and use the force experts routinely online get deposed. If there's a new officer getting deposed on the stand or a law enforcement expert getting deposed on the stand, I like to watch that because I want to know what these lawyers are going to say. Because a lot of times these lawyers are your, $200 to $900 an hour lawyers that are making good money trying to disprove or dispel what the legal experts are saying and what the law enforcement did. I mean, that's why they're being deposed. That's why this is going criminally or civilly, especially in a deposition setting. So you have to ask yourselves, what are the safety benefits, right? Because if you're going to try to articulate as a police officer that this person was so incredibly dangerous, okay, so you ran at him, somebody has an AR-15 slung in front of them, you ran at them with no firearm, you gave them no lawful orders, no felony stop procedures, nothing, you just ran up and grabbed them, okay? How does that make sense? Presumably you understand cover, concealment. Presumably you've done felony stops before. When's the last time you conducted a felony stop? What was the precursors there? So there's so many different things they can use to hem you up, and these are things that I've seen and that I routinely see in these depositions. Second thing, let's look at the owner's attitude and behavior. Are we needlessly escalating the situation for no reason, especially no lawful reason, especially if you are detaining somebody without reasonable articulable suspicion as required and needed pursuant to in accordance with Brown v. Texas, 1979. Next, are you familiar with the firearm? Is this a firearm that you can safely remove from the person? And if you're going to go ahead and making clear safe, do you know how to manipulate that firearm to safely render that firearm incapable of firing, right? The next thing, how are you going to get the firearm back? Because obviously this guy didn't commit a crime. You're going to have to give him the firearm back. So how do you plan on doing that? And then let's say you decide you're going to be that cop. You're like, you know what? I'm going to put it in his backpack, or I'm going to put it in his car, take it apart and put it in his car, and that'll be that. Okay. Is the owner going to put the gun back on? Because lawfully or unlawfully, but you did your investigation, you found no crime, and now you've taken apart his gun. Are you saying, is there anything against law that's saying that individual can't put that gun back together and put it back on? What was the cost benefit analysis of this other than just, intentionally trying to piss somebody off? Number 6, are you going to make more work for yourself? Because there is Supreme Court case precedences. And we have seen this in other Supreme Court case precedents. United States versus Robinson being one of them, where, you are going to get calls because somebody is going to watch this guy possibly or presumably put this firearm back on. So you leave, and now this person is putting back together his AR-15 in the parking lot, or he's opening his bag and he's putting a firearm together. you're going to get calls. Are you making more work for yourself? Because now you're going to have to come back for a situation, incident that you created based upon your previous conduct and behavior. And then number 7, is there a holster? If there's a holster and the holster is presumably on somebody's belt, why are we taking that firearm out of the holster? Are we making that firearm more safe or less safe by taking it out of the holster? So again, these are all different things to consider, and I'm not here to tell you as police officers what to do or how to do it. All I can do is give you advice and, make it make sense, because at the end of the day, your journey's not over with that incident. If they decide to sue, if that person decides to sue you, well, then now guess what? You are now going to go possibly, presumably, if your city does not, or municipality or venue doesn't pay out to the demands that that person's wanting, you could lead yourself in a deposition in which somebody is going to be asking you these questions. And hopefully, your FOP or your city loves you enough to get somebody that's an expert that can help try to navigate and soften the blow of what's coming. But if you're just making ridiculous seizures and you're just doing conduct that's ridiculous, that's not within the sphere of what you're saying, prepare to have your city pay out, and prepare to look not very intelligent on the stand, not very intelligent from your peers, and not very intelligent from the community that you swore an oath to protect. So keep that stuff in mind. Have a good one, guys. As always, long live the Republic.